Mr. Chairman, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'd like to call to order the Petro Village Community Development Agency meeting of Monday, December 1st. And it's now 6:07. Present are CDA members Camilo, Elizabeth, Garrett, Peter, and Tony as our alternate, myself, Don, and also present are CDA advisor David Kennedy, CDA director Marion, although soon to be switched, I'm sure.
You're giving away all the excitement of the meeting.
And Teresa and Adriana. We have a quorum. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please mute your cell phones. Okay, I'll be seeking approval of the minutes of the November 3rd meeting. Are there any comments, questions, concerns, changes? No? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 3rd meeting as written?
Motion to approve?
Can I have a second motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes of the November 3rd meeting are approved. Teresa, I have a financial report.
Evening, everyone. I hope your Thanksgivings were nice. Tonight I'm reporting on the financial report from November 3rd to December 1st, which is today. So the CDA for the Section 8 account, we wrote 68 checks. For the billable port-ins, we wrote checks totaling $6,275 even. For office expenses, payrolls, the copier, supplies, we wrote checks totaling $21,205.54. For the housing assistance payments for our participants and for our port outs, we wrote checks totaling $227,808 even. In all, the Section 8 CDA account wrote 68 checks totaling $255,288.54. On the CDA side, which holds our CDBG funds, we wrote 3 checks for payroll and expenses totaling $5,959.64. In all, for the month, the CDA wrote 71 checks totaling $261,248.18. Does anyone have any questions?
All
The one thing I want to add is that the auditors came back the week before Thanksgiving. And they pulled a couple of, they call it subsequent, which is after the May 31st date. So they pulled some deposits and payments that were from June 1 until September 9th, I believe it was. So we should have our audit report hopefully soon. They came back mostly for the village, but they did pull a couple of our things. So I'm hoping we have it soon. Haven't heard anything yet.
I don't think you will.
I know. Yeah, I mean,
Thank you, Teresa. Okay, I'll seek an approval of something next year. I don't know why we're doing it so soon. It's next year. Resolution to set a public hearing on January 5th, 2026 for the public input into the selection of projects for community development block grant funds for fiscal year 2026. Can I have a motion?
It's a motion.
Can I have a second motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Mary, or who will be doing section 8?
Oh, I don't have a report right now.
Okay, so we'll forego that. And Marion, the executive director report?
For the, for the what? The Section 8?
Oh, section, yeah, that's right, section 8. So there's nothing going on?
Well, I mean, we did, for Section 8, so far we're okay. We haven't heard whether we're getting January funding or not. So that's something that, they have to pass a continuing resolution. So right now, we don't know if we're gonna get January funding. And so we're hoping that we'll get it.
That's because of the previous shutdown?
Well, because they never adopted, right? They didn't pass a budget. So, right, so the continuing resolution.
Mhm.
And so then they had the shutdown, they had already approved, I guess, before the shutdown for actually November and December. But since the shutdown, they're back in, they haven't made any, they haven't adopted a budget or done a continuing resolution saying that they're gonna fund the Section 8.
I think can we assume that it'll happen? That-
I would say they're probably gonna continue to fund us
Okay,
because
not-
they cannot, because it just doesn't, I mean, they've done a lot of things, but I have a feeling there's too many landlords and other people that get money from HUD. I don't know how they, it's one thing you're gonna hurt poor people, but it's another thing when you're, hurting people who have money invested in the real estate. And the landlords are expecting those payments, but even what, I just feel like it'll happen. I was a little nervous before, but I feel like now, since they're in session, something will happen. But we haven't heard.
Would they possibly revet the people? Let them reapply possibly?
Oh, no, that's just too big. I mean, we have millions of, I don't know how many people are on, I'd have to look. But and there's no, in the regulations, there's nothing for that. So for them to implement something like that, I mean, I know they're doing it in other areas, maybe, but they can't really, at this point, I think that's not something that we've heard any rumblings about. So I don't think they did, they did withdraw, they did change a fair housing rule because before they implemented like 2016 or so, to assist people who are going through reentry when they come out of prison, to get housing. And there are regulations regarding, there are certain convictions that someone makes them a person ineligible for Section 8 or matters. So if they've ever been evicted from, in the last 3 years, I think, from a Section 8 apartment for engaging in drug use, if they've ever been convicted of selling methamphetamines, right? There are like 4 classes of criminal actions. And so they were encouraging us to be more careful as we viewed criminal records, right? To not automatically, because there's a criminal record, deny somebody Section 8. Well, the email, the notice actually said the Trump administration is trying to restore things to our country, and so they've rescinded those rules. And so now it's gonna be, I haven't received like, guidance from any organization, because I usually use to them, but basically that we now have to be more careful how we use it. We don't give them the benefit of the doubt. They're not necessarily covered under fair housing laws. So we have to see. That doesn't mean that we're gonna change because New York State has protections. But under the federal Section 8 program, they're removing those protections.
So if they become homeless, they'll be back on the street causing havoc though.
Right, I mean, if you can, right, exactly, if someone's going through reentry and they can get housing, and housing is the first thing you need to be successful in any sense. So yeah, it's not but that's the first major change I've seen among others. Well, no, actually, we did see that regarding when we have mixed family status, when we have households where someone is undocumented, someone is documented, I think they want to split up those families. Right, you can't have an undocumented person in your household. We used to be able to do that. So there are a lot of different things, and they're cross-referencing with the Department of Homeland Security. So we have to, and all that information goes into a database, so it's not like they're gonna necessarily come to our office for that information.
Will they be preventing appropriation of funds if those new procedures are implemented? Like if the states do not comply with cross-referencing with Homeland Security, for example, do you think like they were going to restrain funding to
Well,
states?
You know what happens is we transmit when someone comes on our program, so let's say you have a mixed, we don't have any mixed status families, but if we had a mixed status family, every time, every month, people, a group of participants are recertified, and that gets transmitted through to HUD. So there's a whole system where it goes up there, and they're already comparing social security numbers with that information, because that's how we find out if somebody started a job and didn't tell us about it. But then we don't really control whether or not those records are connected to whether DHS has access to those. We have to comply with our side. So there's not a lot that we have input into.
Okay.
That's really a federal, a HUD thing. And so I think, and then there was there was a big change was supposed to come to the continuum of care, which is what helps homeless people, homeless, and so I think there's a large class action suit that's going out against them for the changes to the COC funding. And so things are happening. Our program we're doing okay. We did have a few more individuals pass away. So our utilization what was our utilization?
We were 137.
Yeah, we were.
And that's with everybody, the courts and everybody like.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
We do have 2 people leasing up for January 1 that I'm aware of now.
right.
Hopefully we can start to level off and maintain, but a lot of people are passing away.
Yeah, but I mean, individuals we've known for years who either have an illness or,
Yeah.
but we seem to be having an attrition.
137 out of, what's our,
177.
Yeah,
177?
We're using pretty much 100% of our funding. It's probably at 98%.
Oh, wow.
So to get up to 177, we can't do that because of the funding side of it.
Oh, God.
So it's
yeah,
you
it's
know,
kind of like, this. We would have to, what we could do, and Teresa, well, not lately, but uses this 2-year tool, that's a projection tool. And if we push it, let's say if we had more vouchers to give out, if we had more money, yeah, or we could push it and give out more vouchers and use our reserves. And then they would start the next year, they would start funding at a higher amount because we had more vouchers out. But it would take some changes in how the program is administered to do that, but that is an option.
Yes. And with the uncertainty of funding too, it wasn't something we were gonna push right now.
Yeah.
But not until we're back and we know what's really going on.
So 137 is in the village of Patchogue, or
It's just the village, we
Wow.
just manage the.
Yeah, we
village.
just manage the village.
I thought there was some that would leave.
Well, that's,
Port
well,
out.
the 2 port out, do we have
Yeah.
any, we had port outs?
Yes, we do right now, yeah.
Yeah,
2?
2 port outs, yeah.
Yeah, but
So
the
they go into the
137
jurisdiction, sometimes they bill us which is what they're doing now, and sometimes they take them and they call it absorbing.
And
What's
then-
more after me? What does that mean?
Absorbing is they take our participants into their program and then we're downing them.
It's better for us to.
Yeah,
So billing.
so
Right.
port out means some participant on our program, voucher holder through our program moves to another jurisdiction. So that's a port out, and then,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be 1 block outside of the village, like
Right.
it'll be Brookhaven Town or CGC.
yeah,
CGC is the only other Section 8 program allowed to operate within the
Village.
within
Yeah.
the village of Patchogue. Nobody else can.
So would it be 135 plus the 2?
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
but 135 in the village of Patchogue, that's
Yeah.
a,
no, it is.
that's a big
Definitely
number.
is. I would like to see us get back up to 140,
but I mean,
and that's
like,
been,
yeah.
we've been trying all year, and the way that it's just balancing out.
It's just so hard, people leave, people move, people die, it's just.
At
hard
the
to-
rents,
All right,
Yeah, we're able to manage the rents.
yes, they seem
Right.
to have leveled off more than they were,
Are
they
they?
were just,
going up.
And
What's a normal?
I would say right now about 2,200 is the average for a 1-bedroom,
Okay,
which, it is high.
Yeah.
But that is leveling off at around 2,200.
is and I'm sorry, I'm just curious about section 8. Is it more one bedroom or is it more?
We have mostly one bedrooms
Yeah.
because our jurisdiction doesn't have large properties.
Mhm.
So we're more 1 and 2 bedrooms. So majority is ones. We have a larger part of our participants are elderly disabled. So we have a large percentage of that. We have few families. But I think that's a lot. I think I've spoken about this before because I spoke to the executive director in Huntington and they have like 3 bedrooms, 4 bed. They have larger and other jurisdictions that are larger, they have more housing, but ours are really, we don't have the housing that would support, a family. So
Yeah.
generally, our rentals are 1 and 2 bedrooms, mostly ones.
Thank you.
One question, when they pour out, it still comes from our budget?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, if they pour it out and they bill us, right, which is one option, then we reimburse them
Okay,
and we pay them an administrative fee. So we pay the rent and an administrative fee.
okay.
And is that unlimited, like they, or as long as they stay in this location, even if it's outside the village? They would
Yes,
still do that?
unless the receiving PHA housing authority decides to absorb them.
Then they become a part of their program and they're no longer part of our culture.
Yeah.
So that would be, yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Well, if they move to a different jurisdiction into a bigger house,
Mhm.
more expensive, how does that affect?
Well, we issue the voucher, right? So if the voucher is, the voucher size is, if it's, give me an example, how big, if you have 2 people, right? So depends, but generally it's a 1-bedroom voucher. Right? So they have a 1-bedroom voucher and we have a payment standard and the other jurisdiction has a payment standard. Right? But they have to stay within a 1-bedroom. If they get a 2-bedroom within the payment standard for a 1-bedroom, then they can get the other unit. But they can't go beyond the size of the voucher that they're given.
Just a quick question back to the first point about funding the housing and stuff like this. Of course, we all want it to go really well, but let's say it doesn't, or there's no resolution by a certain date. Do we know like what that date is? And is there anything that we can be thinking about now to prepare for a situation we don't want to encounter, but is there anything we can do to be thinking through the worst case scenario?
At this point, what we would do is, first of all, we should know by because it hits our bank account by the 1st. So we should know by the end, like the 31st of December,
Okay,
right? Like that would be, but
The last,
the last day.
We'll know next week.
right, yeah,
But if we don't, because when in November, we got it the middle of November, because they
Yeah.
sent us half of November and then they let us know
They would
in the
give us
middle of
other-
November for the rest of November and December.
Yeah.
So we hope it'll be in the next couple of weeks, obviously by the 15th. But the checks have to go out on the 1st. And so that's when the money has to be wired to our account by then. And the fallback would be the reserves that we have, our administrative held reserves,
great.
right? And that could cover
We figured that would cover just about a month of.
1
a
month,
Yeah.
1 month. Yeah, would cover
of the
about 1
housing
month.
assistance,
So
yeah.
we would do that. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Just checking, thanks.
Yeah.
And we did speak last time about notifying the landlords or gathering their email addresses.
oh, right, we didn't follow up on that.
Right.
Put that on a to-do list.
Thank you for that reminder.
Email and notice too.
Well, just in case.
Yeah, no,
That's a good point.
just let them know we're. Okay,
Anything else? Okay, under public authority, we want to adopt our next year's calendar. I do have a couple of questions. July 6th meeting, does the village have off Friday before, or is it Monday, the 4th of July?
Usually the way that works, so the 4th is on a Saturday, you get the Friday, the 4th is on a Sunday, you get the Monday, right? And so I think that's usually how that works.
We haven't gotten a new calendar of our dates for
Right.
next year. But yeah, so that is a good question.
So we'll know, well, when they know, they can always adjust it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this calendar is tentative. I mean,
Yeah.
things could come up and we might have to make adjustments along the way.
Mhm.
But, this is at least, we're, adopting now the first Monday of every month. And-
Yeah, because the September 7th meeting is on the Labor Day, so we would have to make an adjustment for that. I didn't know if you wanted to do Tuesday, there was nothing on the calendar for Tuesday, right, we looked at it. So, either we could do it as we get closer, or those were the only 2 days that really we ran into a problem with.
Okay. And another question, does
Monday,
seeing the,
Monday, July 7th is a holiday.
It's gonna be the holiday, oh, that's the national holiday? Oh, wow, all right, so.
That's what I said.
well, something to think about. As well as September then. And did everybody see the calendar? Does anybody have questions or concerns about the calendar?
No, I mean, I guess as you mentioned, as we get closer, we can revisit check the date, like if July 6th is gonna be a holiday.
we're gonna see,
And
it's not an official one, it was just a Google one, so.
Yeah.
I wanna-
September 7th as well, Labor Day, so just,
Yeah, that's definitely Monday.
Yeah,
That one's definitely.
yeah, that one we'll definitely have to probably
Yeah.
come up with a new date for, I would think.
Yeah, what about the reorg meeting?
Oh, right, and that would be April 6th, is we'll have to talk to. Usually it's always the first Monday.
Yes, that's what I
I
heard.
mean, we haven't heard it officially, but if they're following the same performer, so April 6th could be. So we're looking at 3 dates in the calendar that might have to be adjusted right now. And it's up to you if you wanna make those. If the board wants to make those dates official now, we can.
I don't think it's necessary, because who knows what'll come up in the meantime,
Exactly.
court or something, whoever,
And then and I think the board would have a better handle on their schedule of what would be a better alternative date.
No, that makes sense to me. Okay. Okay, so what do we think we would do in case of adjustments, though? Tuesday?
That's what I was wondering too, like, do we do?
We could probably just talk about it when we get close.
Yeah, I think
So
if we wait till January, I don't know if they've already put up the new calendar, but we would know zoning and planning and court.
Mhm.
And then that would determine what day is available, so then you know.
Yeah, at our next meeting, we probably would have a better idea of what
Yeah,
the
what,
whole village calendar is, and maybe we could make a better determination.
Well, if it's not a court date, could, I suggested going into another office, and you said, well, there's too many people here for us to, because of the court date.
well, because they do the metal detector and everything
But
else.
if it's something other than that, could we go in another
Like if it's
office?
a quiet, like a night like tonight, we.
Well, if it's zoning and planning, you probably, well, you would know, which you're on.
Zoning.
You're in zoning, so if they have a meeting here, it doesn't hurt, you can have a meeting in the mayor's office if you had to, right?
So we'll deal with it
Yeah,
as we approach it.
right.
But we are definitely meeting January 5th.
Yes, I think so.
Just me.
Are you sure?
That's how much. Okay.
Okay, can I have a motion to adopt the 2026 board meeting calendar as it is now? It may have to change. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Can I have a second motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the temporary calendar is approved. Let me see, other business. Who wants to go to Las Vegas, Dave?
Well, Nelrod, which, I've already been taking some training courses, thanks to Marion directing it to me from Nelrod, that seemed to be one of the top when it comes to training, people on the ins and outs of, community development in Section 8. And then they have a very large conference, I guess they do annually. This year it's in Vegas. I don't know if that's always the case, or if they move it
Yeah,
around.
they do it in Vegas.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great opportunities for me to kind of one-stop shop and get a lot of good training. And it was suggested to me by both Mary and the mayor that it would probably be good for me to be there. I've sent out a couple of times, I think in the packet, you did have information. Now, and I didn't, Teresa, and just correct me if I'm wrong, the pricing that you see on these, that includes the 3 nights, I guess, of the, like, that's like a 649 or the 749.
No.
That, okay, that's
I
not, the-
believe the room is on top of that
okay,
price. I think the 649 is just
Just
for
the
the
event,
conference.
right, cause I do see they have the $125 a night, and
Yeah,
it says it's Friday and Saturday's 160, I got you.
So-
I thought that was if we wanted to extend it, which I
oh,
don't,
okay.
right.
Well, I wasn't sure of what your airfare.
Yeah,
How
I
would
was
that fly?
researching the airfare, and looks like between 150 to 300, one way, so if you're looking, I figure budgeting 600
Yeah.
would be more than enough.
Okay,
Obviously I'll try to get there was either. I could do Southwest out of both LaGuardia or MacArthur, or Delta out of JFK, but they were all in the same ballpark pricing.
So it's where you want to
Right.
fly out of.
Right,
Also if you're leaving Tuesday, so what I did was I anticipated you leaving Tuesday, staying Friday night, because it looks like there's stuff on the calendar. I didn't know if you were attending anything on.
I mean, I look like the stuff on Friday would be over in the afternoon that I could catch
You
it
could
later.
fly
flight
out,
out of
okay.
I was thinking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yeah, I was thinking the 3 nights would probably.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if I take out the Friday night, so I have, 482 for the hotel,
And
and then, 649, so I have about $1,131 for just the conference and the room. So if you
What
need
about food?
600 on top, that's the other part, yeah. we gotta
But I
figure it
think,
in.
yeah,
So it's gonna, I would say 2,500,
I think there's a standard amount for meals if we look up on the federal
okay,
website, but yeah, I'd say 2,500.
And you would
not to exceed.
not
Not
to
to
exceed
And would-
2,500.
need a car, I guess.
No, I bet you everything's probably takes place in one conference center, and I'm sure I could get a shuttle or something, I'm sure.
Might even have a shuttle.
Yeah, I mean, if they're having a conference at this hotel, everybody's there, I would assume that they're getting a conference, or if I have to pick up
That
mine.
makes sense.
Yeah,
So they have shuttle reservations,
okay.
so you can get a shuttle there.
Yeah.
And we have the money?
Yes. We have,
Yes,
we have 200 and how much thousand?
it's at least 212.
Oh, so we should all go.
Well, that was another question.
Yeah.
That's the next.
Yeah, no, it's on the agenda. No one says I have to go alone.
Yeah, so I'm thinking around 2,500 for everything,
Right,
not
that
to
was my
exceed
thought
that
too.
amount between food and,
Gambling.
No
we
gambling.
don't cover that. We definitely won't.
I don't gamble. My wife was going, they'd be in trouble.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve David going to the, I won't say where it is, Nalrod Convention
Make a
Conference? Do I have a second motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have fun, David.
Thank you, and just to clarify, and you're right, like now you've approved it, the village board still has to approve this as well, so. Who knows, the village might say, no way, well, that's not.
I doubt it.
Oh, do they? Oh, I thought you guys said they had I was under the understanding that
The funding is,
Check with.
I'll check with.
Lori,
Lori.
but generally, we're paying for it, it's under the public
Okay.
authority, we don't have to go to the
Okay.
village for any funds,
Yes.
so, yeah.
Well, didn't you say that Paul suggested that he go?
He did,
Yes, so it's just, but it's on the CDA,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
think
funding
it would
from
have to go to
CDA.
the
okay,
village.
all right, I don't know why I
Yeah,
thought
no.
you guys had said that.
We never did with any,
We never did
Yeah.
with anything else.
Okay,
that I wasn't sure, of, so
Yeah.
now we know.
And seems like there might be a consideration for others.
well, I know when we first talked about this in Garrett Jordan, we said, hey, maybe you'd wanna go, I mean, this is an opportunity for you guys to learn more too, so. I don't know what the normal procedure would be in those situations, but, If anybody else wanted to go, I don't know if there's anybody on the board that would be interested to go.
I would, but the timing for me isn't right.
Right.
Yeah, my work
I know
schedule.
we said that,
Yeah.
right?
Would we want somebody else to go?
Maybe Dave can go and report back.
No, I'll definitely do that. And they usually say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. This will be a situation where actually stuff that happens in Vegas will actually come back. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking at more as just your commitment, and you might wanna learn more about, it's an opportunity for everyone. I think there's a lot of different types of training that are more directed for my position, and I think that some of these training courses are probably more directed to, people who serve on board, so, it's. And then that also, there might be a couple of conferences that conflict. That, geez, I'd like to get to both of them, but I can't get to both because they happen at the same time. So having another person there, it's like, hey, you get that one, I'll go to this one, and we get to compare notes too. So that's the other advantage, I guess, if somebody else was attending.
Would Marion consider it?
I don't think.
Okay. Just,
I mean, I could go and then, I'll think about it, cause then at least I can help David and we can
Sure.
talk about the different things, but I'll let you know.
well, it would seem a good fit, considering you
yeah.
really have a lot of
Right,
background. And you would realize something is new, was popping up possibly, or major change.
okay, well, thank you, I'll think about it.
Do you think any of it might be video recorded after the conference?
I'm sure they.
I don't know, because they kind of wanna make it, and they have really good materials from this conference. But, I don't know.
You probably have to pay for it.
Well, we're
Yeah.
paying for it as participants. I don't recall if they videoed the one that I went to when I went to Cleveland.
They
So,
most have some kind of PowerPoint kind of presentation,
They
I would
do.
assume. And usually you'll be able to get the PowerPoint,
mhm.
usually in these kind of situations, so I could be sharing that. Who knows, maybe if I'll do my own presentation after TV.
Yeah, that'd be
I'm
great.
Yeah.
hoping to, but I'll see.
I'd be interested to hear your opinion on how
Yeah.
cool it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the hotel's not on the strip. I think I was very smart that they kept the hotel away from the actual,
That's good.
part of it, so I will not be tempted.
Well, the airport is incredible, though. You can't get by all the gambling.
Yes, no,
machines.
I went to Vegas once with friends, asked me to be his best man, and I spent 3 days there. Right, and I remember that was the first thing you get off the airport, you're like, geez, they don't wait for you to get there.
I went to a casino once in Florida. I couldn't wait to get out. The noise, the wheelchairs with oxygen and the flashing lights. I mean, I won tickets to go to Atlantic City many years ago, and I didn't go. It was just, I don't gamble. If I did, I'd probably lose. Okay, subject I alluded to earlier. Want to consider appointing David as Director of Village Patio Community Development Agency. I'd like a motion to approve that.
Motion.
Can I have a second motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, David.
Thank you, thank you very much, and, thank you for the vote of confidence, I'm very excited. Marion has been a tremendous teacher, if anything, I'm just, the knowledge that she has, I always say she's an encyclopedia here in the village, and, I'm sure there's gonna be a learning curve, but, luckily, she's still very close by, she'll be resourceful. Thanks.
Mhm.
Well, along those same lines, we want to approve Marion being a advisor to the Village of Patchogue CDA. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Can I have a second motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. And thank you for being available,
Yeah,
Mary.
yes.
And will you be switching offices?
Yes, we are working on it now.
Started packing my
We're
stuff.
Yeah, we're packing our stuff. Yeah, cleaning out.
And what would your schedule look like?
I don't think it'll change it. It'll be about kind of what I do now. Mondays, I work 3 or 4 hours and then 3, and then I work Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, so that's comforting.
Yeah, so still be here, and I'll be here to, a lot of, David pretty much has most of the public authority and the CDBG, and so now it's the Section 8. And just that's a lot of information to know, so we'll be working on that, and then I'll be, other things that maybe we wanted to get done that it's hard to do when you're the executive director. Grants, but policies, like things that we might want to look at, just anything,
would be okay to give you calls
Of
when you're not,
course.
when you're not working?
Absolutely,
I assume so.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
It's been a great pleasure of mine, the highlight of my working career to be the executive director here for the Community Development Agency, so it was, it's been a great experience, and also, you know, to work with the board and make things happen in the village, like, it's just so fulfilling, because we can walk around, how many projects have we done? And we can walk around and say, oh, we did that, we did that, and it's really great, and all the people we've helped with our different programs in the Section 8, so, thank you to the board for always being in support, and, you know, and I know that this guy will be fine.
You're still gonna be doing
I don't know, I didn't really work that out yet. I guess I may.
There might be a few times I'll ask her to come
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
How long have you been in the role?
19 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've been, I think, it's like 19, because the CDA was founded in 1980. Yeah, actually, I think it's October. So if you want to have, like, I did that in the 30 years. We did a proclamation. Do you remember that? Well, you were here, right?
I don't think it was that long ago.
Yeah, I think it was 1980. So yeah, we did like a proclamation, and then and so we could do another one for this anniversary, right? Which would be nice. And I think October CDBG month, Community Development Month or something. So that's something that could be looked into if you wanted to just highlight it a little bit. But yeah.
You know, like you being excited and proud to do what you do at the parade Saturday night, I find that so exciting. You know, I don't get to see the parades in the village. I'm at the back end. But looking down Main Street,
Yeah.
the lights, the fire departments, it's just so amazing. And I've said, and I think it's true, it's the only Christmas parade held at night. In
Oh, really?
the local, I think I've heard that.
You might be right. I'm not sure what Huntington does with their Christmas
But
parade.
yeah.
But it's just to see kids flocking in from here, and they all blend in to go down the Main Street. And it's quite a
Yeah.
feat to get so well organized.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming there was a good crowd. It had to be, it was a good night.
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, even the weather cooperated. It wasn't too cold as
Mhm.
as the wind died down.
Yeah.
So it was actually, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like, yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. We watched it from a distance.
Yeah,
It's not a great place to
Got a
watch
great
it from. You
view.
can see it out the window.
Yeah,
Nice, that's very nice.
Oh, so we can all go there next year?
One of the best mixologists I know. You tell him what you want and it's exceptional. I've been lucky enough to be invited to his apartment and,
All
one of the
right.
highlights.
I-
Well, I'm sure that.
I suspect they'll be in the
Buddy, party at Garrett's house.
No. No.
Do we have any additional business to discuss?
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
At the beginning of the year, when we updated the charter, Dave and I had some language that was pertaining to attendance. I think we were going to run that language by the village board and the village attorney and get
Yeah,
their
we may
feedback
have
on
to
that.
Follow up on,
We
okay,
will.
we will.
I-
I can help you.
No, I will
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
talk to
follow.
Brian. I know we
Okay.
sent it over to him.
And actually, I think there were a couple of other items that we need to add to our, to the charter that I think we should include, but I didn't, like, at the time. I just didn't add it, but now I'm the advisor, so I will try to do that. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it should be a hard and fast rule, like 3 strikes and you're out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's circumstances, obligations, families and such, so we should really consider taking a soft touch on
Well,
that.
first, I will definitely have for the next meeting, at least the opinion of the village attorney, and, if this is proper. And then, really then at that point, then it'll be up to the board, to have that discussion.
Because I was part of the zoning board. And now as a trustee, and I've never heard that,
I was just gonna ask you.
black and white, 3 strikes and you're out. I didn't hear it in zoning, I didn't hear it. And I think the value of each person, and this is really a volunteer more than zoning or any place. And each person has a very special value for CDA. So I really think it also matters how much that person contributes and depends on certain things, life does happen sometimes, work,
Vacation.
thankfully that's, in a positive way, but I remember, my dad passed away and it was very hard for me to come, the last 2 months before my dad passed away. And I enjoyed, it was worth it because at the end, my dad did pass away, something we were not expecting. But, I do think that CDA has such a value in each person and it cannot be just black and white, but we'll see what Brian says, but I haven't heard that in zoning or.
Zoning board, we don't have anything like that.
No,
You're not able to come, you just let them know, and it's fine. That's fine. I mean, we haven't had the situation that somebody's missing several meetings in a row.
Yeah.
That would be problematic, and then that would be something to look at, but I don't think we don't have that kind of situation at the CDA either.
So
I think,
we had that situation with a previous member.
right, and I think.
And it was, just
No, I mean, I think from Garrett's perspective, and Garrett can clarify that, but it's just, you can't have certain rules for certain people. Like, well, this person's valuable, so we're gonna be a little more leeway. This one isn't as valuable, so we're gonna be a little bit harder. I think with, just have an overall rule. And ironically, the bid, my other directorship that I have is with the Business Improvement District, and they're having the exact same conversation about attendance and so it's not out of the question. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Garrett's just, if you have a policy, the policy can say, and I forgot what yours said, but just like, missing this many things, and then the next step would be, a conversation or a letter.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then, because then you're kind of taking into account circumstances, but if you don't have anything, then there's nothing
Yeah.
really like, what is the procedure to follow? If a situation arises, I mean,
It just
just.
tells you black and white.
No, it's not this number and you're out, it's just that, everyone's encouraged to attend every meeting. And if, it's understandable you miss a meeting, but if you miss so many in a row, it makes it hard to participate. Right, and then you're not participating fully and then making decisions, and then also this is the steps that we'll take. So I think that would be more like not saying, oh, you're definitely out, but just
Yeah.
that we'll take these steps, we're gonna confer and then, and then we'll appoint the person who's supposed to do that. The executive director or the chairperson, chairman, so we could do it that way.
Well-
So at least it's more understanding that someone may, be running into something.
so if it's in writing, it allows you to take the next step.
Right,
Doesn't mean you have to.
right,
I mean,
yes,
That's,
Yeah, and I think that's what the bid is doing, is they're not, if you miss an X amount, you're out. It's, you miss an X amount, then a process begins of a discussion. And I think that was the intention.
That's the gist of it, yeah. The intent is to encourage participation and maybe take it a little seriously.
yeah.
We could also have Peter
Right.
take a look at it too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now that we have, right, we should.
I could, but I think town attorney would be good, so that way he's
Yeah.
got perspective of the. whole
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Plus, but the village board is the one that appoints, so we would be making a recommendation
Yeah.
to the board.
Correct.
To not, so really running it by the village attorney and the mayor would be the first step, because we can't really adopt something like that if it's contrary to village policies. Since they're the ones that,
Yeah.
approve it,
Yep.
so. But you do have these two things to mention.
Yes. So in your packet, before we go to, there's a couple of invitations. First, I'm being on a board, for the village. You're technically a village employee, and every year they do a wonderful little village employee holiday party and staff. The last I guess I guess at least 3 or 4 years now they've been doing it at the lobby of the theater.
Yep.
Which is, I went last year for my first time. It was wonderful. They have a local person who does the catering for the food, and it's very good. So we just want to extend that invitation. I just,
I'll be
you know, yeah, all right, if you are going, please let me know. They do like to have a good head count. I don't know what the date is, but I think there's a cutoff.
Right, and then, we didn't get the amount, there's a charge for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's 25.
That's the
25 person
Yeah.
to
And I
10,
forgot what
It's
date,
on December
19th.
so they'll let us
6
know.
It's a Friday. this
And
year.
if we decide, can we Venmo you, or who do
It
we?
has to go to the county
Alright.
office,
Oh, okay.
right, but if you wanna work something out,
Yeah.
And
because it has to go, accounting takes care of it.
Right.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll collect the funding and get it to them. I mean, whether you, if
Right.
you want, or you can just bring it directly to them, either or, you know.
now, in the past, significant others were invited.
Yes, you can bring, yes, yeah, you are allowed, you know, if your
Yeah,
your
that's
spouse
fine.
is,
Go ahead.
yes, it would like just.
That
Right.
matter. Yeah.
It's very.
Yeah, so if you're gonna go, you know, if you can, let me know within the next week or so, so I make sure that the people organizing it are aware.
And the food was really.
No,
good.
it's excellent.
Really
They're,
good.
they're actually, it's related to the person who's our village assessor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweeney, yeah.
They
and I think
better
good
make
job.
sure this, yes, we'll talk about, yeah,
All right, and then the other thing that's in your packet, and Marion, you can explain this a little bit more, but Marion came across that this conference that's happening on December 11th. It's dealing with homeless, obviously that, you know, and housing, that's important to this board. So, you know, Marion, just want to make sure everybody's aware, and, you know, I'm gonna attend for sure. I'm assuming, I think Marion.
I'm gonna attend, yeah, the Long Island,
I'm interested.
you're interested, it's a really, I mean, sometimes the program is more directed towards, case managers and less, but I thought some of these, you know, these workshops look that they would be applicable, things that it would be helpful for our community to know and understand. So even though it's towards case managers, I think that there's a lot we could learn. So I'm looking forward to going to this. And Long Island Coalition for the Homeless is the way, if I may have explained it to you before, that all homeless services, like,
Sorry,
I sound a little commotion, but, okay, sorry.
it's Carol leaving.
oh, okay.
I was like, who's in the door?
So there's a continuum of care, which is what HUD calls it, where all the agencies that help to serve the homeless in an area are connected through, and Long Island Coalition for the Homeless is the coordinator for the COC on Long Island. So, and they're the ones, every year they have this, obviously it's 37th annual.
So is it the 37th, but this is the 40th anniversary?
This is, they had
Two
40th
separate?
anniversary.
The organization.
Yeah, so the home conference is 37 years, the
Okay.
organization is 40 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I need to register, or can
So you
you
can just let
guys?
Teresa know.
I'll go.
You have to look for the email, because I emailed Greta and she never responded.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
take care of it. Yeah, I'll get in touch with
emailed
Greta.
You and David were.
I'll get in, you know what, I'll get in touch with Mike Frida. That's easy.
And you forwarded me the email, so I could forward that around. I think that's how I first heard. about it.
Yeah, but what is it that they didn't give a registration thing?
No, not with the email that you forwarded me, so I
Is
didn't know if there was another one.
I think there's, yes, yeah, okay,
Okay,
I'll check tomorrow.
yeah, because Greta didn't respond and I don't wanna give you guys hang.
No, there's gotta be somebody else,
Okay.
I'll check with Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, and not for nothing, a little bit, to be the executive director of the Patrick CDA, plus I know Greta,
Yeah.
sometimes it elevates the email in the mailbox.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, that's why I have to let David be introduced, so they know your email.
Well, I don't think I'll attend. I wouldn't want to leave my patient for that long.
Oh, yeah,
Just remembering back a few years ago, we had a cooperative program, what I think it was with social services, and they did a count. They tried to reach through the village to find out the number of homeless.
I don't know that we did that, we did do a program with Suffolk the Economic Opportunity Council of Suffolk to do outreach. And maybe we had money for bus fare and other things. But they're actually, they're looking for volunteers actually along the continuum of care through the Coalition for the Homeless. They do a count in January every
Yeah.
year.
Mhm.
You've
I
got,
know my wife has done it.
oh, she's done the count,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
It's a great thing to be involved with. You get partnered up with someone and you kind of drive around and you kind of meet folks and Kelly, and it's I remember speaking with her, she was telling me that it's a good way to learn parts of the county that you may not be super familiar with, which are resources for folks who are experiencing homelessness. So
yeah.
great.
So it's the point in time census that they need to apply for funds from HUD. If HUD is actually funding homelessness services, which they're cutting right now. So anyway, but yes, I don't remember, but maybe it was a count. I don't remember that we got the report though. I forgot, yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but yes. And it is something that, the board can look at again for this coming year regarding, to use CDBG funds for.
We have any other business?
Yeah, when I first joined the board, one of the hot topics was the map being redrawn for the CDBG funds.
Mhm.
And we were talking about conducting our own income survey.
Mhm.
Did that fizzle out or?
Well, I mean, we obviously have to keep in mind we are partnered with the town of Brookhaven.
Mhm.
So we have to kind of get their kind of stamp of endorsement to do that.
Mhm.
And, they didn't embrace it 100%, let's put that.
So it just kind of.
So it's, we could revisit it again. I mean, the good news is, through this now new position, and I'm taking on, representing the village on the census. And they're starting a little earlier this year. They just had their first kickoff meeting a couple of weeks ago where I attended a little seminar.
Wow.
For the 2030.
Yeah. Yeah,
2030.
2030 census,
No
they're
way.
already, because they realized what problems they ran into last time.
Yeah.
So they realized the earlier that they could start organizing, the better. So that's the good news, maybe at this point, it'd be better off to just let's be part of that process and focus our job of making sure we're doing our part to make sure everybody's accurately counted
That's
the right way, instead of trying to go back and recalculate numbers.
I guess it's important for us to start doing some community outreach, that to let the community know that the implications or the no risk taken by answering questions.
Right.
And in order to get a good count, because part of the process that happened before, it was that the perceived risk on answering questions.
Well, yeah, but even more so now.
More so now, exactly.
Yes,
But
I think
but
it's,
if we educate, if we have some kind of like workshops as we move closer to that day, involving the community, we will have a more fair survey this time.
100%, that, I think that would be better use of our resources and time is if we, as you just said, maybe do something, educating people why it's so important. The fact that, and Don brought up a good point. It's that, hey, we don't know if we lost a little bit of our ability to do some stuff in the village because the numbers came back a certain way. And you could argue it's a good thing because we're doing our job right. But on the other end, maybe it wasn't accurate and people lost out on services. People lost out on the ability because we weren't accurately counted. And then there's all that fear out there that maybe you could argue we weren't accurately counted because, and if you look at the maps, I mean, one thing that did stand out for Long Island, Patchogue seems to traditionally be an area that is not really accurately counted as it should be. So, we do try, but we just gotta double up our efforts. And maybe instead of trying to go back and recalculate, maybe let's do what we can to make sure our accurate count this time around and is as best as possible.
Well, wasn't Nassau County part of the reason why we were looked at with them also?
not in this, because this is specifically for the census tracts and the census blocks just for the village. So it's really doesn't, the overall doesn't relate to Nassau County. It's just what we counted in our village, and I don't think it is accurate, because if you look at I think we talked about the last time this came up, if you go on the state education department and you look at our schools, we have like 50% are disadvantaged students, right? So economically disadvantaged. So how can you have the students at South Ocean, Bay, and River have those statistics and still saying that, oh, well, we're not qualified under certain
Yeah.
for the other areas. So I think there is, and we can look at the areas that really didn't respond. We get more information, but you see those census blocks that came up higher in income, and things are changing in the village. So they may be, I mean, that's the whole point of revitalization, right? So it's the good part, but you still want to have, yeah.
Right, and it's always comes down to key people that people trust. So I think what we could be doing now is really identifying those in the community that the community has faith in when they give information, that they trust that information, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of distrust that is preventing people from being counted. So we gotta up our game in providing that trust that they feel is lacking.
And I think whoever said that, is now we can show what happens when you don't get the right count.
Right,
Right?
Right.
We cannot do work in the downtown area now,
Mhm.
because the count was off, and now we can't work in a certain area, and we're limited to these areas, and those areas don't really reflect what they say they reflect. So it's really, it just doesn't make sense, but that's why we need an accurate count, because you can see what happened last time.
I mean, the new building going on West Main Street probably give us some opportunity to do some additional work, at the hotel, the Main Street. But I'm thinking to reach out to the community, maybe the churches.
Yeah.
Could discuss it, throw it out there. Hey, look, we need your help.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
So I agree with Camilo, what you were mentioning, but it's the outreach, right? So even though I'm saying, wow, 5 years in advance, it does make sense, because minority communities, and I mean minority, not just Latinos, but
Mm.
minority communities, that's basically many, even Caucasian, poor Caucasian is a minority. They need repetition. Sometimes it's procrastination. So it is something about having connecting with a community member that they trust, but also repetition. So I definitely agree that community outreach should start, because that repetition will get them
Mhm.
more at ease in
Mhm.
2030. Also, 2020 was a little bit hectic, right? Everyone-
Well, they started it late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2020, because they usually give 2 years. 2020, they only gave 1 year to prepare to get before the count. So that was, and then they took
COVID.
off. Then at that point, the administration then had changed one of the
The
questions.
questions.
Questions, which made
Yeah.
people feel
Confusing.
Feel
Yeah.
nervous.
and then, and now, of course, now it's really scary, considering what's happening in the country. But I think I hear what you're saying, and we did work.
Yes, we
We did that
work
great
hard.
video.
Yeah.
That great, there was a great video we did, and we tried to get it out there, and other things, other activities. But I hear what you're saying, Liz. I think that's true. You start now, people start
repetition.
hearing it. It's like, okay, why are you talking about it now? Because we want you to remember.
Yeah. So maybe even doing a live after 5 of a table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Different things, and then churches definitely help, but having conversations. It's not just a flyer will not do, it's the connection with a person. That's my experience with any community. It's been the communication with a person rather than just a flyer.
100%. It sounds silly, but even if you had in the Hispanic parade, a float dedicated to that education, it's, I always find when people go to parades, they're in a good mood and they're happy and they respond to that. I always, this little organization that was called Patriot First back in the day and helped change things in the village. I always said, you always put a float in the parade. I felt like that helped us build this community trust
With the board
and being their
members.
presence.
Does
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Maybe you could develop a mascot like Celia, the census.
Yeah, we should get a team together. I don't, I don't think it's outside of our purview for us to do these things. We even use our meetings once in a while to have someone do a presentation and invite the
Yeah.
public to be educated a little bit. No one says we couldn't be doing that stuff now, so they're
Right.
more prone to it. when
Right,
it comes
because,
to, yeah.
I mean, we did a complete count committee before, you have
Yes.
a complete count committee now. And then you're right, you know, you could have you count, right? You could figure out something creative and get it out there.
I think PTAs might be a place to inform
That's good
people,
too.
because it
Mhm.
definitely affects parents and families.
Well, your PTA chair, president, your pastor, rabbi,
Right.
those are, the community trust those people. So certainly getting them on board as being messengers, will reach a lot of people.
Stepping back to us doing our own re-census, didn't that get floated by the mayor, that idea?
Yes, I did speak to the mayor about that. We were, as David said, when we brought it up to the town was gonna check with the HUD person that they work with, and it wasn't something,
Gave them pause, I
it
guess.
gave them pause, so we didn't really go anywhere with that. I mean, I see the value of, I wonder if, it's just an opinion. Because it would help with other things that we do, not just with CDBG, but we apply for grants and other things. To have an accurate, determination of maybe they made a mistake, then if the village chose to do it, it doesn't I don't know that we necessarily have to submit it to HUD.
Right?
We could just say that, look, we wanted to do it because we think this is wrong and we want to do it just to see whether or not, that these don't reflect, so that if we're applying for a grant, we would say, this is what happened, but I don't know who would certify that, right? We could do it, but then who certifies that? I guess we'd be appealing to census.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to spend a lot of money only to find out that, hey, you can't do that, would we?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so we'd have to find out if you were to do your own count, who would that go to
Well,
and who would
We
certify
need
it?
to find out if it has happened before, if it is a precedent that allow us to follow the same, path.
Right,
And whether or not it's, as you mentioned, we will have to hire our own consultant to do the survey
right,
of the census, but it could be used for other programs to secure grants, federal grants and state grants that require a certain percentage of underrepresented communities, population within the community. So even though it will be an investment, it could bring more dollars from grants.
right, and I think that even if we were to have that person, the consultant do it, I wonder if we're still gonna have to do outreach for people to respond. Right, and that
Yes.
might be a door-to-door kind of thing, if we know where we're gonna be doing it, that's the thing, we've never done door-to-door.
And this is the problem right now,
Mhm.
during this
We can't do it.
administration, it causes fear for certain people.
Yes. rightfully so.
Asking their personal information.
Yeah, no, it could be.
The consultant didn't say it was a lot of information, but I would think if it is, then yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this.
Even how many people live here, that's too personal.
That is
for
true,
them.
right,
No,
yeah.
right.
It's like, why?
You're in New
And
York,
I'm laughing, but it's not funny, but I'm just laughing
It's,
about,
The situation.
yeah, but it's,
it's not funny,
it's
right, I know
not
what you mean.
funny, but, I'm just laughing of my perspective, like, I'm trying to make a good deed, but it's not gonna be a good.
It's not gonna be a good date, because everybody's so, right, yeah.
Any additional business?
No, that's about it. Thank you, guys.
All right, you have any comment?
Happy Thanksgiving.
You know, motion.
Any comments? Yeah, it all sounds good to me. It sounds like reaching out, you mentioned churches, there's a library, of course, Tony knows about that.
Yeah.
And several other organizations like that. Excellent.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Have a second motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting's adjourned.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, buddy.
The next meeting is next year,
What time?
January 5th, 2026 at 6 o'clock.
What's the adjourn time?
Oh,
6:12.
6:12.
So 7:12.
7:12.
7:12.
Okay, we're going to make it.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
thank you.